You met with President Trump recently. He was in Texas. We saw him. He was visiting the border, talking with Governor Abbott. Talk to us about President Trump's trip to the border and your meeting with him.
What a refreshing thing to see a U.S. president, unfortunately a former U.S. president now, and a man that loves his country so much. The policies that he had put into place on the border were working. He had his trials back and challenges. Back in 2019, we had a huge surge of illegals coming across. But through hard work, a lot of negotiating with Mexico, with President AMLO down there, with the three countries of the Northern Triangle, the Trump administration set into place policies that really work. The Remain in Mexico policy, the Safe Third Country policy, many of these other, Title 42, which is going by the wayside pretty quickly here. During a pandemic, you were able to turn, the Trump administration were turning away illegals so that we wouldn't have COVID and other diseases spread into the United States. And yet the Biden administration continues to ignore it. And let me just tell you this, a group of Texas sheriffs has filed suit against the Department of Homeland Security because they're being ordered. The ICE agents themselves are being ordered by Department of Homeland Security to release criminal aliens who have been guilty of child molestation, child sex ring, human trafficking, drug trafficking, on and on. And the Biden administration is ordering these ICE agents to release these criminals into our society. Well, let me tell you, the local sheriffs are having none of it, and they have filed a lawsuit against DHS, and rightfully so. I'll tell you, the Biden administration deserves all the shame they can get because they have left Texans and American citizens defenseless. They have refused to honor their oaths of office, to have the law, enforce the law, to uphold the Constitution. They simply have ignored that and want open borders. And all I can say is they want these millions of people to come in and really just swamp our country, bankrupt us, fill us with crime, criminal activity, drugs. We've jumped from 70 to 90,000 overdose deaths in America just in the last short while. It's incredible what's going on, and I'll tell you, I thank Governor Abbott for stepping up and saying we're going to finish building the wall in certain strategic places and start arresting people. Quite frankly, I made a contribution to that effort online just the other day, and I hope every other American will do the same. We've got to have border security, and building that wall is part of it, and it must be done.
And I'm glad to hear that. And so when you go to the border and when you visit, what are you hearing from the border agents who are working there, basically on ground zero? What do they want from Congress? What do they want from the administration that they aren't getting? Because we just know a few weeks ago when the 2022 fiscal budget came out, they didn't even mention border. The word border didn't come up, but 54 times mentioned was global warming or climate change. So we see where the priorities are. So what are you hearing from the guys on the ground? What would they like to see?
They're frustrated. Their hands are tied behind their backs. Fully 40% of border agents have been taken off the line to care for kids and to care for illegal aliens and processing them in. And Kamala Harris, what a disgrace. It took her almost 100 days to get down to the southern border. And then even when she did go, it was simply for a photo op about 600 miles away from where she should have been in the Rio Grande Valley. Quite frankly, it was just a matter of a photo op. That's all I can tell. And then when asked the question, she said, "We've made extreme progress." Now, when asked what extreme progress meant, she said it means processing. We're processing these migrants in as much more efficiently than we have before. So basically, they've turned our border authorities into a welcoming committee for illegal aliens to come into this country permanently. They've done away with deportations. They've done away with, and they've reinstituted catch and release. And they're not deporting even the criminals, as I said just a while ago. So listen, I think it's high time for the states to step up like Texas is doing, because this is an administration that has willfully neglected their duties. violated their oaths of office, endangering American citizens and our property, overloading our schools, our hospitals, our jails, and everything else. It's just incredible, incredible, and it must stop.
And what's it been like working with some of your Democrat colleagues on this issue, especially Democrats representing districts in border states such as Texas or other states, Arizona, New Mexico, California, and others? What's it been like working with them, especially when you lead a lot of these delegations down to the border and you see everything there that's happening and you bring that knowledge back to D.C.? I know, of course, we're not getting anything from the Biden administration. Of course, we know why. But for a lot of these congressmen who represent state districts that are on the border that are dealing with the surge in drugs, in crime, and what have you, what's it been like trying to work with them to make progress on this?
Well, I can't say there's a lot of them, but there are some that have actually spoken out about the horrendous chaos and anarchy, and even called it a shell game, where they will shuttle and shuffle groups of illegal aliens, especially unaccompanied children, from CBP facilities over to HHS, or Health and Human Service facilities, and then take a picture of where they were, and it's empty, and say, hey, we're taking care of business now, when it's strictly just a shell game. And one of them that comes to mind is my friend and colleague, Henry Cuellar, who represents the Laredo and that district down there on South Texas. And he is one of the very, very few that has spoken out about what the administration has been doing, and quite frankly, even his own Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and over in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, they are for open borders. It is just something that they obviously want. I think they want to bring as many hundreds and thousands, even millions. We've had over 1 million illegals come in this year alone. And quite frankly, just enfranchise them with a vote, put them all on government service, give them free health, free education, even free cell phones, as I said, and bankrupt the country. And we've got to have somebody protect Americans, protect our property, protect our lives. These angel families know full and all too well what happens when you let these criminals in. And now we've got this warning coming from Panama, that coming through the Darien Gap down there, there's people from all over the world coming in, many of whom are terrorists and bent on creating havoc and very much harm in America as they work their way up through Central America and through Mexico into the United States. It is something that I can't believe. And it was, and having been down there 3 times just in the last 2.5 months, I am stunned to see how out of control it is, and out of control on purpose. The Biden administration is doing this willfully, neglectfully, and on purpose, and seemingly to hurt Americans, so they can get these people in here and get them I assume, to get them on the voter registration rolls.
That's what it all comes down to, unfortunately, for the Democrats' calculus. But Congressman, thanks so much for keeping the pressure up on the administration on this, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Kara.